Hello and welcome to Wise Old Men.
My name is Brian, in-game name Brian Lego.
And my name is Nick, in-game name Oldregar.
So I've been playing RuneScape on and off for about 12 years now. I started in the summer of 2005 with a few neighborhood friends who introduced me to the game that would really come to define my childhood. I played pretty religiously up until about 2011 when I quit the game. In 2013, when Old School RuneScape was released, I played for about a year before quitting again, and every few months I would enter a cycle where I'd play a little bit, exit for a tiny bit, play again. But a few years ago, I met Nick, and our love for the game sort of fostered a drive in both of us to start playing again, and we haven't stopped playing in quite a while.
Yeah, exactly what Brian was saying. Honestly, I started playing in 2007, so a little bit after Brian, and I had the same type of situation where I played very religiously for many years, and again, once EOC came out, it really kind of killed the game for me. It wasn't necessarily when the wilderness was taken away, like most people's departure, because I wasn't much of a PKer anyway, but once the game really took a real turn for the worse, that's when I jumped ship. And since we've been playing old school RuneScape for a while together now, it really just allows you to appreciate the game more because you have someone to constantly work off of.
And if I hadn't started playing alongside Nick, I'm sure those cycles of playing for a few months and then quitting for a year or so would have gotten farther and farther apart to the point where I just wasn't playing the game.
Yeah, likewise. I know that it was starting to get shorter and shorter until I finally had someone to really play with, because even though the community is still alive, it wasn't the same as it was way back in the day.
Yeah. Even though the community isn't the same, there are still some things that I love doing. Number one is questing, the complete opposite of Nick. Within about a year of Old School's release, I had a quest cape, and I loved every minute of it. And since then, I've been hunting clue scrolls. I'm about a few hundred hard clues at this point. But unlike Nick, who will really talk to you about what he does, I'm a much more rounded player. I'll dabble in a skill here and there and play much more casually.
And I do have to give that one to Brian because the amount of quests I have done is absolutely pitiful. And the amount of time I wait to do quests is, again, absolutely pitiful. Dragon Slayer, I waited until I was probably mid-70s, 80 combat, maybe in the 80s. Yeah. And Monkey Madness, almost 100. At this point in time, I have a lick over 100 quest points, and I almost have 299 melee stats, which is a little segue into what I like to do, and that is pretty much picking a skill and grinding it in the most efficient way possible to as high of a level as possible. And even though I've only been doing it for a few skills now, it's really what I found to be very enjoyable for some reason, because I'm able to get my mind on one subject of the game and just really master it and get that 99, that skill cape, and use the emote everywhere I can. So there's really not too much more to the game that I do, even though I do want to branch out into more bossing, PVM, questing. I want to get it all done, but we'll see when it actually happens.
The reason that Nick loves his skill cape so much is he still hasn't done Jad. So that's one thing you got to work on, Nick.
Yeah, we'll get that going. There will definitely be a video on that once I actually get around to doing Jad. A little pitiful.
So we created this channel sort of just to document our RuneScape experience. I love going through old photos, and I wish I had more of when I was playing the game back in the mid and late 2000s. And this will be sort of a time machine that we can look back on later to document a really large part of our childhood and now our adult lives.
I agree, because I've always tried to make RuneScape videos, and making them by yourself just doesn't have the same effect, because when you want to share these stories and have someone to talk to about the game, you really need that channel and someone else to give you that motivation to put that content out there, because the story isn't just something lame that you came across when you were young. But the channel is really just an outlet for our stories, our journey throughout the game over the 10 and 12 years, and many, many more to come. It's going to be an exciting ride, and it'll be fun to see where this channel winds up, even if it is just us ranting about random stuff in game.
Yeah, anything, like, we're making these videos for us, so whatever comes of it, comes of it.
Exactly, and we hope you enjoy them, and
I'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. We'll see you all later. Have a good day, and enjoy.